Yeah, there were actually people talking. Alright, so you have a Roadhog Diva, that's double tank. Reaper May, Lucio. Do you get an Ana? Or what support do you get? I'm curious if you actually get a support here.
If
Oh,
you
you
go
actually
Anna,
got
please
an
don't
Ana.
boost me. I don't know, I feel like I'm always wasting it.
Okay, so you have a Reaper. Your main nano boost targets are Reaper, Diva, and Roadhog. So like, if you have your ult, you can you tell him to not nano boost you, but if you do have your ult, a nano boosted Roadhog is not bad at all. If he
Yeah.
can't nano boost anyone else. One thing about low ranked games is that people usually don't get control over high ground, and the position that they hold is pretty aggressive. Like I think we'll see it here. Yeah, I don't know if this is what's actually gonna happen, but if you look at the positioning of literally every single one of your teammates, you're all basically outside of the enemy spawn. This is such a staple at the around the gold platinum rank, like even lower than that as well. It's just such a staple. Like people set up outside the enemy spawn instead of getting control over high ground or a choke. This is so typical. All right, so this is what's actually happening. All right, cool prediction. All right, so you see that they have a Reinhardt. Your team is still playing. Like you're all just playing forward. So the main thing to focus on right now is to crack the Reinhardt shield or get a priority hook on one target that you can kill, which you do right here. You hook a Lucio and you kill him. Good job. That's great. You did the objective basically. You got a good hook. Your team follows up. You get the McCree. This is good, but the positioning is ass. Like at low rank, I don't think positioning matters as much. Like for your team, uh, like you just have to play with them basically. Like the higher rank you get, the better positioning your teammates are gonna have. So optimally, you would be holding high ground right now and waiting for the team to push the payload. But since you got a pick, like this isn't bad. One advantage by playing this far forward as well is if you lose this fight, you'll have a guaranteed a second fight before they get the point, which is good. Wait, what happened? Let's go back a little bit. You kill the Lucio, you follow up, you get the McCree as well. And your team they still play. You hook the Reinhardt. Does the Reinhardt die? No, he gets booped. Alright. You shoot the Roadhog. Right here, you should not have used heal. You should have pushed up and went for the Roadhog, but I'm seeing now that your Reaper got the Roadhog actually. But here, you didn't need to heal, because you have an Ana pocketing you right now, and the Roadhog already missed this. Like, he already has his hook on cooldown, so you're in an advantage with your hook.
Nice, thank you.
But you got help from your Reaper, so he killed him instead. Is the quality good? The quality is alright, I guess. Like, you can see what's happening, which is the most important part. The video quality could be a little bit higher, but whatever. But yeah, like, I like how aggressive your entire team is playing. Like, you're basically playing until you lose a fight. Like, this is what's gonna happen right now. Like, you're just playing until a fight gets lost. And there you got pinned. That was unlucky. Can't do much about that. Quality seems fine. Yeah, it's alright. It's alright. It works. So yeah, so because we played so aggressive, you have a guaranteed second fight. And let's take a look at their team comp right now. Actually, they have 2 tanks, 2 supports. Like that combo is good. They have McCree and May. So your main hook targets should be McCree and Ana. Like, you should be going for these 2. Lucio, you can hook him as well. Like, it works. You one shot him, but also you hook Roadhog after if you know that the Roadhog has his hook on cooldown, you want to hook him. Like, that's kind of a rule when playing Roadhog. If you 1v1 another Roadhog, you want to wait for him to hook first, because then you're always gonna win the 1v1. So when he hooks you, he's gonna shoot you once a melee, but then you shoot him, and then you hook him, and you get a free shot, and you win the fight. Hold on, let's go back a little bit. Do you have any ults available? This is what I wanna know. You're okay. So you see in the chat that your Mei almost has Blizzard. There should be a queue to push up, because I think that your Mei wants to Blizzard, but your team is losing already. One thing that people don't do at this rank is they don't group up. So you just have to, have to kind of like, just go for picks and try to play with your teammates, even though they're mostly going to just run around and run in without any proper purpose. Like, a lot of people at this rank, they play the deathmatch game instead of playing the actual objective. one good
I'm
thing
gonna switch to Zarya.
is to have
Like,
some
you can't
sort of
really do a whole lot
objective-based
more
playstyle.
something.
Like a lot of people that play this game at a lower rank, they think that fragging is literally everything, but playing the objective is more important. Also, the switch to Zarya here is really good because they have a Roadhog on the enemy team, and at this kind of rank, your teammates won't have good positioning, and they're most likely going to get hooked, and your bubbles can save them. So it's actually pretty nice. But yeah, you're just like you don't even get a proper chance to fight. That bubble was good, but the bubble on yourself didn't make any sense. Right here, like you see that your Lucio gets pinned. Right here, you bubble him, but you bubble yourself with no purpose at all. You're gonna have your bubble on cooldown, and you're not gonna gain any charge. With Zarya, you want to gain as much energy as possible, and you want to get as much value out of your shields as possible. So right here, the personal shield doesn't do anything, because you're behind a wall, and the enemy team is like nowhere to be seen. Like you could have had your shield right now instead. You're really charged right now, though. You should be on the payload. You're in your head right now. You should be going on the payload, and trying to fight what's on the way. Like you're fighting the Mei, which is pretty hard to like push on. But your main goal should be to go on the payload right now, cause they're pushing the payload for free. Now it's getting like, yeah, they just keep pushing. They just keep pushing the payload, and there's nobody contesting it right now. Your friendly shields so far are good, but your personal shields are off. You can yeah, you should have used your own shield here in this fight. You're not using it. If you used your own shield there, the Anna would have most likely not slapped you and it would have won the fight. But you still kill her because she was out of position. Good shield on your diva. And you have a graviton right now. Let's see. Does your team? Let's see if you press tab. I want to see if your team has any ults. Oh. Your Pharah used the ult. Like one thing that I can't wrap my head around is like how aggressive people play at this rank. Like your entire team is holding them by the spawn, and it's working. Which is I can't wrap my head around that. It's so crazy. That was a really good personal shield, and that was also a really good graviton. You see that you have 2 or 3 targets that you can graviton, and your team follows up, which is really good. One common mistake that people do is that they save their ultimates for too long. They try to save their ults for a really long time. This is around the gold rank, around 2000, a little bit higher. But a big common mistake that usually triggers me in ranked is that people save their ults too much. Like you did a great graviton there because you saw that you could get 2 or 3 targets in your graviton, which is fine. Like as long as you can get 1 or 2 high priority targets in your graviton, it's actually worth it because that's a one fight. You woke up the Roadhog there.
I didn't see him.
I like this logic here. You're like, shit, I didn't see him. Like, you hear a nano boosted Roadhog. Hold on, you're gonna hear it soon. Your Lucio's ult. That's a really good Lucio ult, actually. Let's see. You hear a nano boosted Roadhog right here. You know that he's around. And he in voice chat he says, "Don't touch Roadhog," as well. Your teammate said it, and then your logic is that you didn't see him. I just thought that was a funny side note. I'm sure you're gonna get frozen right here. You're still contesting the payload. Like at this point, this fight is most likely lost. If they push in. Wait, the enemy team is stupid. But I think this fight is lost, and at this point you just want to be on the payload so they can't push for free. That's good enough. My brain was too slow. It's fine now. I just thought it was funny. At this point you just want to stall as much as possible. You have a diva on your team as well. And you have a Mei still, I think. Just want to stall as long as you can. Which is good, like you're going to the payload, you're contesting. You're building your graviton as well. And since you have a diva, you can stall for such a long time. You just have to play around her. Try to help her as much as you can. There you get owned, which is perfectly fine. Like your purpose right there is just to stall. You almost have your graviton, and you know that your Pharah has an ult. You should... Oh wait, never mind. She wasted it completely. Rip. But yeah, if your Pharah still had ult there, you could be looking for a Graviton combo, but it's fine. At this point, you just want to disengage and hope for the best. Hope that your team doesn't get picked off too much. You can also try to build energy, but it's pretty hard right now. Like one of the hardest things with Zarya is knowing when to use your bubbles to get as much value as you can. Like you need to save the friendly bubble. If the enemy team has a Roadhog or a Reinhardt, you need to save your bubbles for when their Roadhog hooks one of your teammates, or if the Reinhardt pings one of your teammates, or if you have a friendly Reinhardt, if he charges in, you want to save your bubbles to help your teammates. You don't want to use your bubbles just to gain energy, because that's completely pointless. It's better to use it to save your teammates, because then you can just turn around fights and get picks instead of your team getting picked. And I like seeing this game in numbers. So your team, if you go back, well, the way I see stuff in this game is I see it in numbers. So you see different advantages all the time. Like for example, if you're about to engage a fight and you get a pick on a target, it's 65, and that's usually a cue to go in because you have the number advantage, right? Like right here, you got 2 kills. I think it's 2 kills. I think this Reinhardt dies. Pretty sure he dies. Your Lucio dies. But yeah, the Reinhardt dies. So it's 5v5 right now, which is a good cue to use your Graviton to secure the fight. Like I don't think you had to use your Graviton there, but it's good to secure the fight. Man, this is such a mess right now. People just running in. But it seems like your team has stabilized. Also, I think you have a Junkrat on your team, which is pretty shit. But I mean, it works. It works at this rank. Anything works, pretty much. Mega hooked. Rhino charges in. Right now, you should be chasing the Roadhog, and you should be shielding your teammate here. Like, whenever you're focusing on a Roadhog, you should always be ready to shield a friendly target. Like every single time when you're watching a Roadhog, if you ever have your crosshair around him and you see him, then you should always be ready, because you see that you have a teammate right here. The Roadhog is most likely going to want to go to kill for a kill before he dies, because he's in a really bad position right now. His teammates are way over here, and you're 2v1 against him, and he already used his heal. He doesn't have a heal right now, so he's going to go for a kill, and you have a bubble right here. So at this moment, you should be ready to shield your teammate. And your Mei would have survived there. So now you're 5v6. And you just want to try to stall the fight as long as possible. Like you see that the enemy team just got two kills. Wait, before this, when you lose your Mei after the hook, you just want to try to stall the fight as long as possible, so you're making it back into the fight. But the enemy team realize this, and they're going to push in aggressively, and all you have to do, all you can do right now is just try to survive for as long as you can, because they get 2 picks, your Junkrat dies, and all you can do right now is just stall as long as you can. Your main is gonna stall a little bit. Also at this point, you can try switching to a faster character. You see that the payload is almost capped. You're at a huge disadvantage. Your teammates are not out of the spawn yet. At this point, you can pretty much switch to a Tracer, Soldier, Sombra, anything that gets even a Diva. You don't have a Diva at this moment, so you can even switch to a Diva to stall as long as you can. Just try to buy time for your team, because chances are that you're not gonna do that much on Zarya right now. Your team is getting picked off, and you can stall way longer. Even though you're not doing a bad job at stalling. But if you pick Diva there, you could have stalled for way longer. And somehow your Junkrat gets 2 picks. I think, yeah, they pushed it anyways.
Goddammit.
You were at a big disadvantage there. So going Diva or a stall character would have been way better. Zarya can stall, but she doesn't have the speed or any like escape to stall. Diva can like fly up in the air. Tracer can dash around, recall, stuff like that. Alright, so you're playing Roadhog on attack. So the main thing you want to do as Roadhog on attack is look for an opening for your team. Which means that you need to look for a hook on a target that you can easily kill. Like you just need to land a hook, and as soon as you get 1 kill with your hook, you want to tell your team to push, to play more aggressive, to pressure, because you will have the advantage. And that's all you really want to do as Roadhog on attack right now. You just want to create space for your team and try to get as
Instead
many
of Mei,
picks as you
maybe?
can with your hook. Like, one pick is enough. One pick is enough to just steamroll them. Especially with this kind of team comp, like you have a Ana Mercy with a Pharah Soldier. Like, you don't really have a proper tank, but it doesn't really matter. Like, the enemy team is going to be out of position. You know that from already seeing how they play on defense. Like, they will be out of position. They do weird pushes. They do weird flanks. Hold on, I need to drink. Talking too much.
Thank you.
Water is so nice. Wasn't sure whether I should switch to something I couldn't survive long with. Don't play Winston or D.Va too much. Well, D.Va, all you have to do is press shift and fly around. Basically, be stupid. Let's see here, let's fast forward until it starts. Alright, so the enemy team are doing exactly the same. One thing right here, right out of the bat. One thing that you could do at this rank is scout for what the enemy team is doing. Up left here, you can't really see it, but there's a glass up left here where you can see outside, and they can see you. So at this rank, you know that people are gonna hold around the payload, so you can see the entire enemy team composition through the window up left here, but you're not going there. Just a side note, like, you don't need to do it. You will see the team come when you come out anyways, but it can help you prepare, because as soon as you come out of the spawn right here, the first thing that you see is a Mei. I think this is a Mei. Yeah, this is a Mei right in front of you, a Reinhardt and a Mercy. Like, they're playing super aggro. Best case scenario, you would hit a hook on this Mei, but you didn't. You should have attempted. Like, even if you didn't hit the hook here, you should have attempted a hook. The hook range is pretty stupid, and the hitbox is pretty stupid as well. So, best case scenario, you should have tried to go for a hook right here and tried to go for the Mei, because she's in a really bad position. Like, she even runs forward to you. She runs forward. You notice that they have a soldier high ground. No, you just want to play around the payload. This is really good positioning, actually. You just want to play around the payload. You can use the payload as cover from the incoming attacks. You can heal behind the payload as well, and just keep going for hooks. You just want to try to get that one hook to open up the fight. And you also, I noticed this earlier, when you're moving around the payload, you see that there's a Roadhog playing in this area right here. And you know that he's also trying to do the same thing as you're doing. He's trying to go for that one hook to open up the fight. And since everyone is playing around the Reinhardt shield right here, you should prioritize going for the Roadhog right here, because you know he's alone, he has no help, and you hitting a hook on a Roadhog is not that hard. So you should be aiming your crosshair a little bit higher and just get ready for the Roadhog. But instead he gets the hook on you, and but the enemy team doesn't really respond to this. They're not pushing in, which is weird. I guess they just want to hold. Oh, nice. So your Pharah just got a pick on Ana, and the Roadhog died as well. They got a pick on the Roadhog. So this, you should just pressure them as much as possible here. I noticed that you use voice chat. If you have like 2 or 3 teammates that are on voice chat, you should be telling them to push up here and play aggressive. You can rush down the Reinhardt right here. Like, they don't have an Ana. That was a great hook, by the way, because I think the Reinhardt shield broke here. Pretty sure. Yeah, the Reinhardt shield shattered here, and you reacted to it and hooked Mei. This hook was great. This hook was really good. This makes Mei... You could have killed her there, but this makes Mei waste her shift, and you're putting on extra pressure on the enemy team, because they have two down. You're 64 at this point. You get pinned, that's fine. You're gonna survive anyways. Oh, never mind. The Mei focused.
That was embarrassing.
But the Reinhardt was naded and he died anyways. Like, you have the advantage right here. Your soldier, like, the enemy team is just being really stupid right now. Like, they keep getting picked, and they keep pushing in with what they have left. So a Mei is randomly pushing into your team, and your soldiers is just going ham. This is really good. And now you can finally push the payload. At this point, you should be going either high ground or low ground, and just push up and try to be aggressive and look for another hook. Like, one thing that you can do as Roadhog, especially at this rank, is snowball. Like, when you win a fight, you can push an extra bit forward and try to get a hook on a target that Thank you so much for the 29 months grid. You can push up and wait, what? and look for a hook. Because the enemy team is going to try to set up aggressively again, and a lot of people, they don't wait for their team, they just push up. So if you keep snowballing your advantage, you can push the payload for free. That was also really good on Roadhog. You noticed that he was out of position. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, you're not pushing aggressively, but this Roadhog is trying to set up with his team, but he's going ahead of them. Like, he's going without his team, and you just pick him. Which means that you're just gonna push the payload for free. Also, I noticed something about your crosshair placement. Like, you should be looking where you think that enemies are gonna come out. Like, you're looking at the ground a lot. Like right here, you see that somebody's shooting from the plateau, but you're aiming at the hill for some reason. Like, you should be aiming your crosshair over here, so you see where the enemy is coming from and getting ready for a hook. Like right now, you're not getting ready for anything. You're literally aiming at the ground. That was a really good hook. You notice that the Reinhardt wasn't shielding, and you kill him there. Like, you're just snowballing your advantage right now. Like, this is exactly what you want to do. You notice that the Mei doesn't have a shift here, and you notice that the Mercy is out of position at the same time. You should be hooking the Mercy at this point, because she most likely has res. She most likely has a res. So, you should... That was a good attempt at the hook. You got the Mercy, which was a priority pick. And the Roadhog hooked for... Oh, you got frozen. That's unlucky. Yeah, but right here, your hook comes back out of cooldown, and you know from earlier on that this Mei does not have a shift. She does not have her ice block because she ice blocked earlier when she was with the Mercy, and you know that she was in this little room here alone. So you should have prioritized going for the Mei before the Roadhog even got a chance to get out of this little room right here, because the Mei was alone on the left side. But instead, you let the Mei freeze you, and you let the 2v1 get to you. Even though I think you guys get the payload here, you should be getting the payload here. Yeah, you got the payload. That's good. So far, so good. I hardly use the crosshair at all with Roadhog, to be honest. Well, with every single character, you want to place your crosshair where it has a purpose. Like right now, your crosshair placement has no purpose at all. Like, what if an enemy comes out of here? Or what if an enemy goes right here? Instead of flicking on your target and being inconsistent, you could already predict it instead of aiming at the ground. Alright. Soldiers ulting behind. You should be trying to land a hook. That's good. You tried to land a hook. Like, the thing is, like, even if you're missing all these hooks, it's important that you try to land them. Like, it's important that you try, because that's the only way to learn. Even if you miss those hooks, they're great hooks. Like, especially when you notice a soldier ulting behind you, you try to hook him. Like, it's the way that you want to think, you know? Like, the more you try it, the easier it's gonna be to hit those kind of hooks. And you notice a Roadhog chasing you. This is not the right time to use your ult. You see right here that the Mei is using her ult. You should, at this point, you should be trying to establish high ground control. You don't know that the entire enemy team is playing around the payload right here. You know that they're all here, and you don't really see anyone from your team. You know that your Anna's dead. You have one teammate in front of you. You should be getting high ground control right here. And you also notice that the Roadhog is pushing you. So you actually have two options right here. Either stay inside here, wait for the Roadhog to push you, and save your hook. Like, at this point, you don't really want to hook. You want to save it for a tight situation. Like, you could have hooked the Roadhog right here. It's possible. But if I was you, I would be saving it. Because he's using his ult and he's pushing you at the same time. So you have you could have had two options right here. The optimal one would be to establish high ground control and try to hook someone from there. But the other option that you would have had if you still had your hook was to hook the Roadhog when he actually pushes you in this room, like right here. If you had your hook right here, he would have missed his hook and you would have hooked him and killed him instead. But instead you use your ultimate, you know that the enemy team is playing around the payload, and you just go into a trap, like you just go in and die here. You get pinned, you get a Diva Matrix in your face, and it's
I'll
just
switch
over.
to Zarya again.
And a switch to Zarya is actually really good right here, because they're playing a Diva and a Roadhog still. Zarya is kind of my go-to character in ranked, because you can save your teammates so well, and the ultimate is really a game changer. It really helps when your teammates make positional mistakes. It really helps with your shields. At this point, you shouldn't even jump in. Like, you should not even jump down. You notice that 3 of your teammates are dead. They're already dead. And you're high ground. You have high ground control. All you should be doing at this point is just trying to survive and try to spam with your right click, because you can't really do anything. You can't push the payload. And all you would do by jumping down right here is feeding the enemy team ults. Like, you should just be staying up here. You should not even worry about this diva. Like, I think you even shielded her from high ground. I'm pretty sure your shield hit from high ground. Maybe it was during your jump. Yeah, you hit your shield on the high ground, so you could still shield your diva while staying up here. You don't need to go down to help her. This won't help at all. And whenever you're shooting a diva, always hold left click on her, never right click her, because left click goes through her defense matrix, and it charges your ult so much when you have high energy. You should just be waiting for your team because they lost the last fight. I'll answer the Twitch chat after this VOD review. By the way, I don't want to have too much talk with the Twitch chat because I'll most likely upload this to YouTube. Your team is just running in and suiciding at this point. You should just be waiting. That shield was also wasted because you see that, like, a lot of things. This like knowledge just comes from playing a lot, you know. But you have to constantly think about what you're seeing around you and what you're doing. Like, you see right here, there's a Mei wall. Like, you see that your soldier isn't doing anything specific. He's just playing next to you. The Mei walls off, and you waste your shield. Like, you shield for nothing here. The soldier is not gonna push in because the Mei walled right in front of you. The soldier's just gonna flank around, and you gain 0 energy from this. You have a shield that's on an 8-second cooldown right now. If one of your teammates get hooked, they won't be saved basically. And the hook could have, like, it could have been crucial right here, because you see, I'm gonna slow it down. Like, you see that. Hold on. Let's go back a little bit. I'll pause. No, why did that happen? Go back. So bad at like these YouTube controls, but I'm gonna pause so you actually see it. Here, there's a Roadhog hook right here. If this hook would have hit, you would have needed your shield, and it's on cooldown right now. Like, it's not a big mistake, like wasting one of your shield, but it can be crucial when it comes to a fight because you want to survive as long as you can. Right here, you're just tanking. You're building your graviton. It's fine. Like, nothing's really happening. Guess you'll just build your graviton. One tip for poking Reinhardt shield: if you can reach the Reinhardt shield with your left click and your high energy, hold left click instead of spamming right click on the shield. It breaks it faster. Which you're doing right here is good.
I think Anna is good.
What the hell is your Mercy doing right here? This is really weird. So, your Pharah's in the back line. You're pushing in on the payload.
I think Anna is
You notice that your Mercy, you see her jumping right here. You have a shield ready. Your Mercy is in a really bad position. Like, there's not much you can do about this. She's most likely dead. But you should be prioritizing your shield on her right here. Because if she has a res, it can be crucial for the fight. But I think, she dies right there. I don't think there was much that you could have done, but you should have tried shielding her. Basically, in ranked, save your shields for teammates that do big mistakes. But yeah, you not shielding the Mercy actually led to you shielding the Pharah instead, which gave you 2 picks on Mercy and Soldier, which is good. It's good anyways. But I still think that I would have shielded the Mercy. Your Mercy. That is.
Sorry.
Alright, so you have a Graviton right now. You know that the enemy team is going to play on the payload. Based on all the pushes that you've done so far on the second point, you know that the enemy team is going to play on the payload. They have a Mei, they have a Reinhardt, they want to play aggressive. They maybe have Mercy Rest as well. They're going to play super aggressive. So you know that they're going to play around the payload. You should be looking for Graviton around the payload at this moment.
So Graviton search.
You also got to pick on the Diva, which means that you can 100% safely Graviton. But I'm not even... Wait. Yeah, you should be going for the Graviton still here. You should be shooting it, because it's 4v4. They don't have a... Who did you kill again? They don't have a Diva or a Reinhardt. Your Graviton is 100% safe to use. And I'm pretty sure... Yeah, their Mercy beam. You even saw the Mercy beam. Like, these kind of things come from experience. Like, it's hard to see mid-game. You're focusing on what's happening around you. Like, in Overwatch, there's a billion things happening at the same time. Like, situations change in the split of a second. But their Mercy is not hiding. At this point, you see the Mercy beam. She's not hiding. You're 4v4. You can just shoot a Graviton right into them and just push in. Because you have a Pharah right next to you. And you should just be pushing right here. Because you have a huge advantage with your Graviton at this point. And their Mercy is in such a bad position. But I still think you win this fight. Yeah, you still win this fight. Because their soldier was in a really bad position. Their soldier dies. They force a rest. And this is actually a really good point to Graviton as well. Because they force the rest. And now you have them all in a Graviton. So you should be winning this fight. Which you do. It's good, it's good. I would have gravitoned earlier though, but it worked out either way. Because the Mercy wasted her rest. Sometimes I'm wrong with my predictions as well. Like, I'm just trying to think of what the most optimal option is. But not gravitoning earlier actually worked out because the Mercy wasted rest, as I said before. You see the soldier here, he's playing alone. He's playing completely alone on the point. You have a microphone on, you should be telling your team to push on him. He's completely alone, and you can snowball from this. If he dies here, you win the next fight guaranteed. Oh, you have a diva behind you as well. Since you have a diva behind you, you should be just go in there and left clicking her. One thing you do really well as a Zarya is counter diva. Like, diva is really good in this meta, but if you're high energy and you just hold left click on a diva, she melts. Like, it's crazy. So if you have a diva in the backline or a diva around you, you should be switching your focus to her and just holding your left click and pressuring her. That way she can't really shut down your team. A diva without mech is so freaking useless. It's crazy. Do you even have one more fight here? You have 10 seconds left. Just kind of have to go. That shield was also completely wasted. Like, you know, if you look at the clock, you see that you have 10 seconds left. You know that your team wants to push in. You're exiting your spawn. You're not fighting right now. You're just using a shield. Because you see a diva using her defense matrix at the exit right here. So now you don't have a shield. You popped your personal shield though. It's not bad at all. And I think, unless the Mercy gets a rest here, no, I think your Mercy died. I think this is a lost game. Maybe your Mercy can rest. Good swap to Winston. You already have a diva, I think.
Oh well.
Yeah, you already have a diva. Alright, so you lost the game. Alright, so you played Roadhog and Zarya most of this VOD review. And my main pointers to you would be to think about your crosshair placement as Roadhog. Like, really think about where you place your crosshair. Always try to place your crosshair with a purpose. Don't just place it randomly on the ground with no purpose at all. Like, always think where the enemy is going to be and where they can pop out and where you can get hooks. Like, Roadhog's hook hitbox is completely broken. Like, it's crazy how broken the Roadhog hitbox is when it comes to hooking. And always try to think about your advantage. If you get a hook on a target and you kill them, you can move forward a little bit. You can pressure the enemy team because you're 65. If you win a fight, you can also push forward a little bit and try to look for a hook to snowball a fight. Like, if you win a fight, the enemy team gets wiped, they will try to come back one-on-one. Like, people don't group at this kind of rating. They will try to come back one-on-one. So they get ahead of themselves and they go ahead of the group, which means that you can get some easy hooks. And if you hook a target and you enter a fight 65, then you're already at a huge advantage before the fight even starts. So you should definitely be focusing on that. And on Zarya, you should be focusing on shooting the right targets, like left clicking and right clicking the right targets. You get a feeling for this, and it all comes down to priority. Like, but priority is kind of, it comes with time as well. The biggest advice when it comes to priority is to think about the positioning that the target has, and if the target has the ultimate ready or not. Those are two main things to think about when prioritizing. Also, you should think about when to graviton and when to not graviton. For example, like before, when I told you that you should have gravitoned even though you were 4v4, because you had a massive advantage, you would have gotten the Mercy in the graviton as well. And what else? Yeah, and your shield as well. Think about shielding with a purpose. Like I said, use your crosshair with a purpose, shield with a purpose as well. Like, if you see a lot of damage incoming, you can shield yourself. If you know that the Roadhog wants to hook you, you can try to react with a shield, for example. And don't use your friendly shields to build energy. Use them to save your teammates. Use them with a purpose, like I said. But yeah, those are the main purposes that I can give. That was pretty fun to watch. I haven't watched a Roadhog or a Zarya VOD review, and since I played those two characters a lot, it was pretty nice.